I'm finally cognizant of the fact that I've been monitored for the last 45 years by the company. And it is the only thing they needed to know about me to start this process was my friendship with John Bruce Douglas, who I've recently mentioned in a YouTube video. And also my interest in certain radical terrorist literature, which I taught at UConn, and of course in their free university. And my faculty advisor described himself as an anarchist. Lenny was his name, Jewish name. My course at UConn was, the reading list was Che Guevara, Frantz Fanon, The Wretched of the Earth, and a number of other extremely radical, left-wing, theoretical people. It was enough to, I had a conversation with somebody I met at one of my Harvard classmates, Joe Jenkins, and his son turned out to be the assistant surgeon to the man who took out way too much of my intestines, to the point that my difficulties in nutrition are immense. I have hardly anything left in my abdominal cavity. Be extremely careful about overeating, fighting constant threat of diarrhea, explosions of intestinal explosions. And I realize now, I went to a psychotherapist, got an office in Brookline.
When? What was the date?
It was from, first of all, I went to see him in Newton.
Who?
Name was James Elkin. He spoke perfect Russian. My present physician at Harvard Vanguard is a Jewish name that ends with the same thing, K-I-N-D, child, Kint, Robert something Kint. So these people have absolute access to my total medical condition. And my therapist had access to everything going on in my life. I think I've been monitored for 45 years. Maybe.
Yeah, but before you went to UConn and you
probably
you were in the Polaris missile program.
That's right.
So you don't go and work on a secret military.
I worked for the Navy. I had top secret clearance.
You don't do that type of thing and then get into civil rights activism and expect to walk off scot-free. They've been getting the IRS to audit you and your wife and me and mess with you in other ways. Maybe that fucking Polish doctor who operated on you, which caused you to have the stroke, maybe he was supposed to do away with you.
Maybe they hacked into his computer. And also, what they'd like to do is to see me with like zero financial resources, unable to do anything that I might want to do. In case what I might want to do might somehow be in conflict with what they want to do on a larger scale. And we've got a country which is in real trouble. Our people have been here for almost 400 years. In less than 20 years, it'll be 400 years since we've been here. What the hell have we accomplished? Or what have we got for America with all our rights thrown to the dogs?
Including the heart of the Constitution, which comes from Magna Carta. 800 fucking years of progress thrown out the window by Obama.
I couldn't even get a gun license, was what I know about me. If you have a total population with all their guns sequestered someplace, the main threat against the state is been taken away. That right, the Second Amendment right, is the most important thing we have. And of course, they know better than anybody that I know more about guns than practically anybody. And how to take them apart, how to clean them, how to put them back together. I was the biggest gun collection in East Tennessee. Not just antique guns. I had M15s, I had the Williams carbine, I had all these wars that my history teacher's husband, Kyle Moore, brought back from the war. And his ship was bombed by the Japs, carrying back the atom bomb after bringing it across the Pacific to drop on Nagasaki and Hiroshima. And what has my son been doing? He's been working for the Japanese now for the last 6 years, educating them in biology, which is a very powerful discipline that has tremendous implications in international warfare. And this is because his salary has been reduced by Harvard. A full professor, tenure professor, salary reduced 25%, because Larry Summers lost about $19 billion of a $35 billion endowment, more money than a lot of nations of the world have as their assets. So he's constantly away, not only from his own responsibilities at the medical school, mentoring his postdoctorate students, graduate students, and all the basic research in all the laboratories at the medical school. So he's rather hampered. And he's not available to me as my support, as fortunately, his brother has been available to help me survive and operate intellectually and in other ways, artistically, and to get strong again. For instance, I come around the house, about to come back, and he says, go around once again. And that is the way I keep strong. And I am strong. I remain very strong. I could very much easily break somebody's hand with my grip. Or I could, if I needed to, I could rip their eyeballs from their sockets and toss them on the ground like Gloucester and King Lear and say, out damn jellies, and stamp on their goddamn eyeballs, pop them. These guys know how I talk. Nobody fucks with me. And I'll have people around me who nobody will be able to fuck with. You know, I get the best football players from the University of Tennessee. and have them here, teaching them how to cook good food, French food, and enjoy this place and exercise and be around bodyguards. And they are strong dudes. Let me just tell you. The reason that we white boys could never really play football as halfbacks because we couldn't run as fast. We weren't as strong. African Americans are just stronger. I mean, look at Carl Lewis, who won the Olympic Games on track and field. My father was a track and field man, high hurdler at Northwestern. He on the 110 flat. He could jump his own height standing. He's almost 6 foot tall. His uncle was 6'4", 600, 240 pounds. My grandfather invented the poker stick, which flew straight up and then horizontally. Fly right straight off of an aircraft carrier, go across a bay to another boat, a cruiser, destroyer, and with a parachute, just let it right down on the deck. Very, very convenient to be able to have a plane that flies straight up and then goes horizontal. How is that done? You attach the seat to swivels. It's not a stationary seat.
All right, so they monitored you for 4 decades. So what?
Well,
What do you expect?
I don't expect anything more, but I mean, now they're trying to have it so that my income is going to go to zero. And
I don't think that's them. I think that's your corrupt cousins in Texas.
well, maybe they're hooked into the same company.
I think your parents.
Why did some young man know that my cousin George was crossing the road at a particular moment? Well,
that has nothing to do with the company. That's a family feud. That's his own children cannibalizing their grandfather. That's his grandchildren taking their grandfather out of the picture. That family he never, for some reason, he may have been a great engineer and a big oil man with grand ideas, but he may not have been a good father. You know, he may have been not. It wasn't.
He was also a close friend.
Who knows?
He was also a close friend of the Bush family when they went through the tragedy of losing their little girl. They were one of the families of among Texas oil people that were there to comfort and support a family grieving for a terrible loss. And that family knew all about it because my grandmother's child died at 8 years old.
Why don't you explain how we're related to the Bush family?
James Tewksbury Redmond, my great-grandfather, married Lewis. James Tewksbury Redmond, but also My great-grandfather Lewis married Elizabeth Walker. Well, what is the name? Herbert Walker. Herbert Walker Bush. George W., which is Walker. It's one of the major families in St. Louis. The other major family were the Harwoods, your middle name. They were maybe the the chicer, more aristocratic. And they're also related to the King of England, just like I am, and you are. So cousins who went back to England sent their daughter. She married an earl, and in that way became a member of the Bose-Lyons family of the Queen Mum.
But that means we're just related to them by marriage.
Yeah, it's removed. It's like a eighth cousin twice removed. That's what removed means.
Well, that's not very close.
It's not very close, but it is. It's a distant relative, and the royal family may have some interest in what happened to the people that went to Virginia to form a colony. I mean, we received 333 1/3,000 acres of the best land in Virginia from the king. When a gift is given, people are like, well, what did they do with all that money, all that land? People like to keep up and find out. Maybe our cousins over there can help us. I mean, for instance, maybe they like some. I've got so many shares of landers' interests, mineral rights, leases, rights to leases, the biggest oil field in Texas. Maybe the British government needs some oil. I know China needs oil. I know Russia is having trouble because the price of oil went down there, and all their gas that they're sending to Germany, they're threatening to cut the whole, just turn off the spigot, cut off their water. I mean, maybe that's the only way Putin can control these sanctions that are squeezing him.
No, don't worry about the sanctions. That's just a bunch of theater. Seriously, don't. If the U.S. and Europe continued with the sanctions against Putin, then England would go out of business, Europe, and then Putin could shut off the gas, and if the ruble completely falls and collapses, then the euro will, and then the dollar will follow. If not before. So,
I mean, Merkel's
come on, Dave.
Merkel's got to do stuff like,
don't worry about
just a minute. She's going to just say, no more visas. You may not do business in Europe. You may not even travel out of it.
This is fucking 1984. It's fake. Okay? The fucking same people that own Russia, who run the big banks, are the same people that own most of the U.S. It's just a smoke screen. It's just to make us all think that there are still enemies. We're headed toward one world government or one world corporation. What have you? This is going to be just. They're just going to conduct a war against the poor.
Is this the laundry that you just done?
Yeah, I'm folding the laundry. While you talk about your worries of being surveilled.
Well, interfered with is more what I'm worried about.
Well, stop going to the hospital in the U.S. Stop taking all that over medication they give you.
Like what?
I don't know. Your hair's
Colchicine?
They're probably giving you too much of that. Yeah. Too much of a lot of things. The French don't prescribe colchicine when there's no gout outbreak. you're taking it preventatively. That's
Mm.
it's an American style of medicine. Done with this video?
Yeah. I don't think there's much point in it.